Nearly 2 years passed since I left my full-time job to become an online entrepreneur. This was one of my biggest decisions in my entire life, but my expectations didn't meet with the reality first. Previously, I always imagined that being free is my ultimate goal in my life, because I will have enough time to carry out all the activities which I couldn't do because of my overtime. I will be on my own and I don't have to cope with people who I don't like. And lastly, I can completely utilize my time productively as I won't sit on meetings where nobody cares what others say. Well, these kind of expectations came true, but I didn't expect that I will become the slave of my own thoughts, but not in a good way. I have experienced my depression, anxiety, and all kind of frustrations came to the surface. But how I ended up there after I felt that I hit the jackpot? I clearly remember my first day as an entrepreneur was a huge shock. Simply, I couldn't find my place. I felt that I made a huge mistake and maybe I should go back, and this was the worst idea ever. A few days ago I woke up in the morning, drank a cup of coffee and rushed to my workplace. I knew what I had to do to reach my goal, which was to become a leader. But after I quit, all of these changed within a blink of an eye. So the question was, what's next? What can I do with this plenty of free time? Maybe it seems to be easy to answer this question, but the truth is, it isn't. I think it is the same when you win the lottery. You might feel that you won't have financial difficulties anymore, but how many times did we hear that someone became broke once again after they received all of their prize? And this is exactly what happened with me. I had too much free time and nobody told me how to live this kind of life, so in the end boredom moved into my mind. For sure I knew what I had to do for my businesses, but still it couldn't feel out the whole day. In my bored moments, I started to experience panic attacks and created thousands of fearful scenarios. Now I can say that was understandable, because how should I know how to live my actual life if nobody around me made the same decision as I did? As I look back now, I know that these were the clear aftermaths of my own bored mind. In the beginning I haven't realized that I am my worst enemy, but as time passed I started to think about it. Slowly I figured out that I have to completely change my mind if I would like to enjoy the life what I have chosen. Going back to my workplace wasn't an option anymore, and I was also sure that that was not a good opportunity. So what happened? After a few months of self-pity, I finally started to take actions. When I finally awakened and realized that every kind of information comes from my mind, I was also enlightened that at least I have the power to change. I can do whatever I want with my own thoughts, and it's only up to me how I would like to feel myself. Certainly it is easier to say than do it, but I slowly started to take the first steps. First of all, I started to read everyday books about self-help and self-development. I dived deep into the subjects of schema therapy, how to motivate myself, and how can I manipulate my own thoughts in a good way. I felt a couple of times that none of these books will help me out, but I continued reading despite my actual thoughts. Within a few months I started to experience over and over again that the pages that I have read previously came to my mind. Even though I didn't feel the change drastically, still I was already part of it. It started. I started to siege my own bored mind every single day, and its walls slowly fell down. In the end I have realized that I have to fill up my days with all kinds of activities which can serve my mind and soul, and I can't let myself to be bored. Furthermore, a book about beneficial habits and productivity also proved me that I have to follow a solid daily schedule to avoid boredom and also work on my own happiness. That's how I started to practice guided reading and once again learn intensively German. Nowadays I always try to do something which can capture my attention, but at the same time it also serves me. It serves my own self-development, it serves my happiness, or lastly it serves my businesses. After nearly 2 years I can finally say that I feel myself happier more than ever. The first year was especially rough, but at least I figured out who I am. In the beginning of this journey I had a feeling that this life won't be suitable for me, but I still followed my instincts, which proved me that all the doubts were only part of my boredom and fear. But now I can say I am happy that I had the courage to stick with my own decision. So what is the lesson in the end? Shortly, I have to be careful what I wish for. Freedom can truly be a gift, but only if I know how to deal with it. Otherwise, sooner or later it will be a curse because it will start to affect my own mind, and not in a good way. As I mentioned previously, I strongly believe that it can be similar like when you win the lottery. You might feel that a dream came true, but if you don't know how to manage money and responsibilities, then you will find yourself in the exact same place or even worse, sooner or later. And none of the last, I also learned that taking brave decisions always pay off. Sometimes these kind of decisions are easier, sometimes they are more difficult. It might come with a lot of joy and pain, but in the end, these kind of difficult decisions will form us into a person who we always wanted to be. The rest is up to us and how we carry the weights of our decisions, what we have made.